name is Emma and I'm the founder of Hearty Little Kitchen, and I'm super excited to welcome you to this cook along today where we will be making a Funfetti cookie cake. Now this Funfetti cookie cake is in collaboration with the Paddington Pantry, and it is the latest release of our ready-to-bake mixes. This Funfetti cookie cake, it deserves a medal. It is seriously delicious. It's colourful, it's tasty, it's golden brown, and it's got these beautiful white chocolate chunks dotted throughout it. You seriously cannot get much better than this. It's the perfect cookie cake for a celebration. Maybe you're not really a cake person, you prefer cookies, or maybe you're just looking for something delicious to share with other people, or to share with yourself and not with anyone else, because hey, there's no judgment here. Honestly, you will not be disappointed with this, and it's really, really simple to make. Now, the beauty of these ready-to-bake mixes is that you really only need a handful of household staple ingredients. So obviously you do need a jar of our Funfetti Cookie Cake Ready-to-Bake mix, and all of the dry ingredients that you need for this recipe are in this jar. So we've got some plain flour, we've got some salt, we've got some baking powder, we've got some caster sugar, some brown sugar, some fun, colourful Funfetti sprinkles, and then to top it off, we've got some white chocolate chips as well. Delicious. Now, we also need 125 grams of unsalted butter. I recommend unsalted butter for this recipe because we have added some salt into our dry mix, so make sure you use unsalted butter, otherwise your cookie cake may be a little too salty, which we don't want. So 125 grams of that. You need 1 large egg, and we need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract or vanilla paste. I'm using vanilla bean paste today, but if you've got extract in the pantry, that's totally fine. It works exactly the same way. All right, I'm just gonna make a little bit of space here. Now, the very first thing that you need to do in order to make your Funfetti cookie cake is wash your hands. So if you haven't already washed your hands, make sure you give them a really, really good scrub under some warm water and soap. Make sure you get in between your fingers, the backs of your hands, the fronts of your hands, and just, give them a really, really good scrub and then rinse them really well. The next thing that we need to do is to preheat our oven. So we're gonna preheat our oven to 180 degrees Celsius on a conventional setting. If you have a fan-forced oven, then you're going to reduce the temperature slightly to 160 degrees fan-forced. Otherwise, on a normal, standard, conventional setting, 180 degrees is the way to go. So my oven is busy preheating now, so it will be ready to go once I have put my cookie dough together. Now, the next thing that we need to do is to prepare our cake tin. So this is what we're going to cook our cookie dough in. So it will be one giant cookie cake. So we need to grease it, and we also need to line it with some baking paper. So this here is an 18.5 approximately centimetre cake tin. As you can see, it is round. If you have a tin similar, great, I suggest you go for it. If you have a cake tin that is slightly bigger, you can use it, but just remember your cookie cake will therefore be not as thick, so it'll be slightly thinner, and your cooking time will probably be slightly less. If your cake tin is slightly smaller, your cookie cake will be thicker, therefore your cooking time will probably be slightly longer. You could also use a square cake tin, you could use a heart-shaped cake tin, whatever it is that you have got and you would like to use. Now, we're going to grease it really, really well. And when I say grease it, I mean we're going to kind of put some either oil or butter on the base of the cake tin as well as around the edges, because we do not want that cookie cake to stick to the tin when it's cooked and we're trying to get it out. So I've just got a piece of paper towel here, and I've just got a little bit of excess butter, and I'm just going to use that to really wipe and cover the base and the sides of the tin really, really well. So make sure that no part of the inside of the tin is missed. So it should look something like that. You can see that glossy finish that it has from the butter. So now we are going to line only the inside of the tin with some baking paper. So how we're going to do that is grab your roll of baking paper, and you want to cut off a sheet that's sort of just slightly bigger than the tin. Now, once you've done that, you're going to put your baking paper on the bench in front of you and put your tin on top of it. You then need either a pen or a pencil. I'm going to use a Sharpie today just so that you can see how I draw it really easily through the camera. And you're just going to really quickly and easily trace on the baking paper around the bottom of your tray. It does not have to be perfect because we are going to be cutting out, but it's just so that we can see the shape of the tin. So it should look something like that. Now what I'm going to do is use my scissors and I'm going to cut out that round shape. So this is the side here that has the pen. You can sort of just see it around the outside. I am going to place that down in my tin so that it just covers the base. So your tray should look something like this. And it is time now for us to make our cookie dough, which arguably, other than eating the finished product, this is the best part of the whole process. So I've got my nice large mixing bowl here ready to go. I've got my 125 grams of butter already measured out. If you haven't measured your butter yet, that's okay. You can do so using some scales. So now it is time for us to melt our butter. Now there's two ways of doing this. You can either do this on the stove in a small saucepan on low heat and just stir the butter until it has melted completely. Or you can make sure it's in a microwave-proof bowl and you can pop it in the microwave for short bursts of 20 to 30 seconds. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to pop it in for 30 seconds, then I'm going to take it out, give it a really good stir, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I've got my butter here. Now a lot of it has melted, but there are still some big chunks that need to melt. So I'm just going to give it a really good stir because it will continue to melt as I stir it. And then I might need to pop it back in probably only for another 10 seconds or so. I think we might be ready to rock and roll here. Beautiful. Now it's okay if there's still a couple of small chunks of butter remaining. As you stir it, they will melt because obviously there is still the residual heat left over from the melted butter. So just give it a really, really good little stir until you're happy, and then we can just pop that to the side for a minute. Now we're going to add our ready-to-bake dry mix into our bowl. You may notice that the white chocolate chips come out really easily, but the other ingredients kind of get a little bit stuck. That's perfectly normal. It's just because those ingredients have compacted together as they have rested in the jar. So give it a bit of a whack and it should come out. If you get stuck, that's okay. Just grab a spoon or a butter knife and you can sort of just stick it in there and it'll help everything to come out. So I've got my trusty spatula here. I'm just going to give all of those dry ingredients a really quick mix together, just so that any chunks of sugar are broken up and just so that they are sort of evenly combined. How good. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is grab our egg and we're just going to really, really carefully tap it on either the edge of your bowl or you can tap it onto the bench. Use 2 thumbs to open up the shell where you cracked it and just crack that egg straight in. Now, if you accidentally dropped any eggshell into the mixture, that is okay. Honestly, it happens to me all the time. You can use 1/2 of the eggshells to sort of fish it out. But I am actually looking okay there, so I'm going to pop that to the side. I'm going to use my spatula or spoon, depending on what you're using, to just sort of break that egg yolk up a little bit. Then we can add our beautiful liquid gold butter straight into the bowl. And then we can add a nice big dollop, about a teaspoon, but if you add a little extra, it really doesn't matter, of vanilla extract. You can measure it using a measuring spoon if you would like to, but I never measure my vanilla extract because It's vanilla extract and it's delicious and you cannot really have too much. So in our bowl now, we've got our dry, ready-to-bake mix. We've also got 1 egg, 125 grams of melted butter, and about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm just going to give that a really good mix together now so that all of those dry and wet ingredients are combined. Already looks like a celebration, and it's that colourful funfetti, the white chocolate. It smells like a celebration. Yum. Alrighty. So now we're going to grab our greased and lined baking tin, and we're going to add that cookie dough straight into the tin. So just sort of add it all in there. Make sure you get all of it. We don't want to waste any of that deliciousness. And we just want to press it down as firmly as you can. You could use your hands for this. You could use the back of the spoon, a spoon for this. You want to make sure that it's nice and even. So you don't want any part to be sort of higher than the other part. Sort of fills all of the sides. So my oven has been preheating, so it is ready to go. My cookie dough cake is ready to go, so it's time for me now to pop this into the oven. Now I would recommend putting it into your oven on either the middle or the bottom shelf, just so that the top doesn't get too brown before it's cooked. I'm going to pop my cookie dough cake in the oven for 12 minutes to start off with. It probably won't be done at that stage. It normally takes about 15 to 18 minutes in my oven, but every oven is different. So it's important that we keep an eye on our cookie cake, because we can always cook something for longer, but we can't uncook it. So I'm going to pop it in for 12 minutes, and then I'm going to have a look at it and see where we're at. That way I can then determine how much longer I think it needs in the oven. Now, at the 12-minute mark, as I pull it out, it will probably still be a little bit wobbly in the middle, which is a really, really clear sign that it has not finished cooking. At that point, I'd probably put it in for another 3 minutes, and then I would check it again. So keep an eye on it, make sure you set alarms, and then I'll see you once it's cooked. So my cookie cake has finished baking in the oven. It took about 18 minutes in total, but you can see here it has sort of got that really nice golden brown top, and it's quite firm in the center. So as I pulled it out, I was sort of checking to see if it was still wobbly, and if it was still quite wobbly, then I would pop it back in for another couple of minutes or so. But once I could see that it was pretty sturdy, I knew that it was just about ready to go. So I took it out of the oven, and I've just placed it on the top of the stove to cool completely until it's sort of cool enough for me to easily handle. And now what I'm going to do is grab a palette knife, and I'm just going to use that palette knife to just go around the inside of the cookie cake. And what we're doing with that is helping to loosen the sides from the tin. And because we greased it really thoroughly, it should come out easily, but this just sort of helps. So once you've finished loosening the cookie cake from the sides of the tin, you should be able to feel it sort of loose in there. So what we're going to do now is grab a wire rack or a board or a plate, as long as it's flat, anything will do the trick. And we're going to place it over the top of our tin. We then want to hold onto the rack as well as onto the tin, and we're going to tip it upside down. You may then need to give the tin a bit of a wobble, but the cookie cake should come out pretty easily. Now, obviously it's currently upside down, so then grab your other wire rack or board, pop it over the bottom, and then flip it so that it is up the right way. And there we have it, our delicious Funfetti cookie cake. I am so excited to celebrate my day today by eating this delicious cookie cake. Now, you can obviously serve this however you would like. If you were serving it for a particular celebration, you could put it on a nice plate or a nice cake stand. You could top it with some dollops of whipped cream, sprinkle it with some extra sprinkles. It is entirely up to you. Otherwise, it tastes just as delicious as is. Thank you so much for cooking along with me. I hope that you enjoy your Funfetti cookie cake. I hope that you enjoyed cooking, and I am so excited to do some baking and cooking again with you soon.